Hi, I'm Rick Maurer. In the last video, I talked about this notion of harnessing energy by looking at how are people likely to support us or resist us, and suggest that energy is always alive, either working for us or against us. And it's in our best interest to understand where things are aligned and where they're not aligned. Once we've got that information, we have an opportunity to harness energy and use it to work toward what we want. So I've developed a really simple questionnaire, 3 questions, and I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'm going to show you a link, or show you how to get a link to the assessment tool that will have a lot of resources there. And this is all free, so there's no sales call at the end of this thing. Imagine this energy bar: strong support, strong resistance. And let's say I'm trying to influence you some way, and I go, well, what do I need from you? Well, maybe I need you to be willing to try something out. I don't need you to buy something. I just need you to try this out, maybe for the next few days. And I go, okay, that's great. And then what am I likely to get? And I go, well, you're probably going to be kind of skeptical. So we can already see that there's this gap forming, and that gap is important. Okay. So the first question on the assessment is, what do I need? What kind of energy do I need from that other individual or that group? Okay. And there are 3 choices for this. One, way over on the side, is you need to be a strong supporter, to be an ally, a champion, a leader. I really, in a change in organizations, the people you count on to go out and bang the drum, be influencers, you can see by their actions that they're behind it. So that's a strong level of support. Down, a little bit, still quite positive, is maybe I need them to be willing to do something, and be willing on a short term to do something. Like, hey, can I come in and get a half hour out of your weekly staff meeting? Because I'd like to explore X, Y, and Z. And I need you to say, oh yeah, sure, let's do that. Or, hey, would you be willing to try this thing out? I'm just testing it right now. It only take a week or two. And I'll go, yeah. So everything is kind of short, really short term, but a willingness to help out. So they're not signing on the dotted line and getting married to you forever and always. All they're doing is saying, yeah, come on into that meeting. Also down here, also on the positive side, maybe all you need is for them to be interested in what you do. And, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to come to meetings, but you want them to be going, wow, that's interesting. Keep me in the loop on that. Because you need to have them on your side, or maybe later on you're going to need to ask something from them. Okay? So the first question is, so what do you need? The second question is, what kind of energy are you likely to get from that individual or group? Now, maybe you're likely to get strong support, or willing, or being interested, maybe, and that's all great, as long as it's aligned with what you say you need. For instance, if all you need is them to be interested, but they really want to be a strong supporter and take a lead, that's an interesting kind of mismatch. There's too much positive energy, if you will. But there are other places on the scale, and usually this is when I get called in, is over on the resistance side. The first is they're just not interested. Nothing against you, nothing against what you're doing. They just don't think it fits. I suspect that you probably went to a meeting yesterday or today when you're sitting there going, why am I here? Why am I in this meeting? This is a real waste of time. And that happens to a lot of us a lot of the time. And so they're not against you. It's just, it doesn't seem to be a fit for them. Or maybe it's a little further down the scale, and the term I like to use is grumbling. They go, oh no, here we go again. Oh, not that. Oh, didn't we just do that 2 years ago? Oh, that sort of thing. You don't have to use the word grumbling, but it works for me. And then all the way down on this side is strong opposition. In other words, opposition that's going to push back because they do not want this to succeed. So it's really important now to be able to say, so what kind of energy can I expect from them? And if you don't know the answer to that, I'll be talking about how to go out and find out where that energy is. And so you can be really specific about that, because that's really helpful when you're trying to come up with tools for building support. All right, so we got 2 questions now: the energy that I need from you and the energy I'm likely to get. The third question is, how willing am I to be influenced by you? How willing am I to be? Because I want to influence you. Am I willing to be influenced back? Yes or no? The assessment tool asks those three questions. So, what kind of energy am I going to need? Well, I'm going to need you to be a strong supporter. So, I click that. Next one is, what kind of energy do I think I'm going to get? Well, probably not interested. So, I click that. And the third question is, am I willing to be influenced by the person or group I'm trying to influence? And I click yes. And that takes you what? A minute and a half. And a page will come up and will say, here's what I think that looks like. And there's about a paragraph there. And if you read that paragraph and go, yeah, boy, that's it, then the rest of what's on that page, I bet it's going to be really helpful. So I'm trying to calibrate here just to make sure that when you fill it out, that what I'm giving you is something practical. So if that first paragraph doesn't fit, then you're on your own. I don't know. But if it does fit, what I'll do then is say, all right, so here are some of the issues. Here's some of the things that can work. And quite often I have a video attached to that. And those videos are very short. And I tell a story about someone or some group that did a really good job with exactly that gap, that kind of challenge. And that's what it is. So I have a website on the Energy Bar, and you can get the assessment. And all you have to do is send me an email. And as I say, it's free. And I will be then building on this whole idea of support and resistance in subsequent videos. So thanks for watching.